Hello, I'm Dee and I'm an addict. Wow. The person I'm introducing is my husband, and I've known him for quite a while. Met him the first time I was in recovery, and then I came back and he was still here. He has amazing recovery. He has two passions in his life, recovery and sports. So I'm taking his phone away from him because the Flyers are playing as we speak. It's a thing, it really is. I have to tell you a couple of things about Tony. One thing of it is he breathes, lives, eats recovery, and he has no problem telling me when I need to call my sponsor. Or you, when you need to call your sponsor. He has been a strong person in my recovery, and he showed me a lot of things that I didn't know when I first come into recovery, because he was one of the old timers when I got here, and he's been steadfast ever since. And I would like to introduce my husband, Tony. All right.
No Flyers. All right. Hang on just a second. Little people. I'm Tony, and I am a drug addict. What's up, guys? Good to be here at this convention. I wanted to thank the committee for asking me to speak tonight. Service is a huge part of my recovery, particularly my home group. My home group is a We All Belong home group in Parkersburg, West Virginia. We'll be celebrating our 24th anniversary in December. We always have a big dinner. If you're in the area, stop over. But I wanted to just briefly just acknowledge a few people quickly, if I could. First off, if you were on the convention committee here, could you guys please stand? Stand. Yeah, the reason for that is I don't think that a lot of us understand how much goes into putting on something like this. How much people have to give of their personal time to actually put this thing together so that we could have a convention. And I see the same people doing this year in and year out. And they say that 10% of the people that are in Narcotics Anonymous actually do the work of Narcotics Anonymous. We need to get that number up a little bit. So when we're doing service, what we're doing is we're getting out of ourselves. So when this meeting is over, hopefully there'll be more than 10% of you guys helping put these chairs up. I know you're going to want to get a cigarette and this and all that, but step out of yourself a little bit and just help the convention out, because they do a great job here in Ripley every single year. I really look forward to coming here. So thank you guys again. I really appreciate you guys. I also wanted to give big ups to my wife. My wife is amazing. She does not turn down phone calls from women that call her. Unlike me, when a sponsee calls, I'm like, look, dude, it's after 9 o'clock. She answers the phone all the time. All the time. She is always there for her sponsees. She follows the NA program like unreal. Her spirituality is a lot better than mine. There are people, if you're in recovery and you're here long enough and you get years in, just by doing service and doing things, you're going to get screwed over. You're just going to get screwed over. That's just the way it is. We've got people that don't have real good social graces, as I did when I came in. A lot of people don't know how to say thank you and this and all of that. A lot of people that you'll help out and won't return things, but it doesn't matter what people do to her. It doesn't matter. She is always there. So could y'all give her a round of applause? Thank you, honey. Because there are just not that many people like you in Narcotics Anonymous. So I wanted to thank you. Also, a big part of my recovery or is anyone that's here in our recovery community in Parkersburg. If you're here from Parkersburg, please stand. I see y'all too. Come on, come on. Yeah. We don't get recovery by ourselves. I believe that it genuinely takes a village for everybody to get their recovery. I tried to do this on my own for a lot of years, and it just never, ever worked out. And it wasn't until I came to Narcotics Anonymous that my life started, and I started listening to them, that my life started to take off a little bit. I did want to do the Tony disclaimer real quick. People from Parkersburg already know what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and speak, and hopefully I won't speak to long or anything like that. But if I say something that you don't like, or I offend you, or I mispronounce something, or something like that, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I don't care. That's all Narcotics Anonymous, man. Narcotics Anonymous has freed me from the opinions of other people, except my wife. Yeah, because I remember when I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, I was like, man, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me. Well, actually, as you go on, you find out, like, within your circle of people that really give a shit about you, you care about what those people think. People that are on the periphery are on the periphery, and they do what they do, but there's a small circle of people that are in my life that I truly give a damn about what they think. And sometimes I'll fall short. My clean date is May 4th of 2001. I got arrested on May the 3rd, and I had, what was on May the 4th? No, I got sentenced on the 3rd, and I remember just being stoned out of my brain in court because I knew I was going to go to jail. And that time I was only sentenced to, 21 days and 21 days in rehab. So I had my Narcotics Anonymous book with me. I had tried the other fellowship before. That didn't work for me because if I want to go to church, I just go to church. Plus, people in Narcotics Anonymous, I noticed that people in Narcotics Anonymous accepted me. I'm a big black guy. I'm loud. I'm out there. I'm very opinionated. I'm arrogant. I got a lot of shortcomings that I'm still working on as a person, and they still took me in anyway. You know, I'd go in bars and everything, and I would act the fool with these same character defects, and everybody would be like, get the fuck out. These guys said keep coming back. It's like, what the fuck? I don't get it. It's like Narcotics Anonymous is kind of counterintuitive that way. You know what I mean? Like the steps and everything are like counterintuitive. Like I remember when I was at the fellowship home in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and I was there, and somebody stole some money from me. It was $18, and they also stole some cologne from me. Oh man, not the cologne, all right? So I was like, I knew who did it, And I told my roommate, man, I'm just going to thrash this bastard, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm talking all this, and he got me calmed down, and he said, Tony, they said you're supposed to go and you're supposed to call your sponsor. So I calmed down, and about an hour later I actually did, because I knew he was telling me the truth, to go ahead and call my sponsor. I've been hearing it at meetings for years, and I just never did it. And I called my sponsor, and I told him, this motherfucker stole this and stole that and this and all that. And, he was just listening to me vent. And on the other side, I heard this quiet, and he goes, all right, do you want to get in the solution? I said, yeah, I want to get in the solution. And he says, well, what I want you to do is the guy you're talking about that stole the money from you and the cologne and everything, I want you to go give him a hug and then go do something for him. I was like, what the fuck? Because you don't handle business that way out on the street. You know, I'm at least going to give you a verbal, say something to you, you know, or something physical or something. No, he told me to go give this guy a hug. And we all have like a community washer and dryer down there. And I went up to him and I gave him a man. I clenched my teeth. And by the way, it took 2 days to do that. And I'm living around this guy because I know I have to do it. Somewhere in my mind, I knew in order for me to get out of that I had to do this. And after about 2 days, I went up and I gave him a hug. And then I found out he was doing laundry. He went downstairs and did laundry, and I watched over that laundry in the TV room, and I was watching who was going down there. I was waiting for the dryer to stop, and I went down and I folded his clothes. And that's what I said, man. Yeah, I was like, and I'm folding it up, man. I'm like, can't believe I'm doing this fucking shit. And so I fold this stuff, and man, I'll tell you what, the next day at morning meditation, man, my heart had changed on it. And I got to thinking about where he had to be mentally to come in my room and take that from me in the first place. What's going on with his life? I had never been that introspective about anything as far as somebody doing something to me. Incidentally, I hope you guys realize that if you're sitting in this room, that we're professionals at a lot of things. We are professional victims. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to tell something somebody did to me. I can't wait to tell another person, and I know you guys are the same way. My hometown is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, home of the Eagles, Flyers, the Sixers, anything Philadelphia I like. We got any people from Philly here? Where? Who? Oh, okay. I saw a guy with an Eagle shirt. I hope he was going to be here. But in any event, I came down here to play college basketball. I used to actually look like a basketball player. Then I got married. My wife made me look like a football player. It had nothing to do with me, you know. And I grew up in what's called the Whitehall Projects in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And as you can imagine, it's like steel, concrete, jets flying overhead, ambulances going down the street, people fighting, people, as I was in recovery, I actually can look back at some of those and I see some good things that happened, but I think because of my addiction, it blinded me to all that. And then, it was just bad stuff that was going on all around me. And I had started playing basketball. I got good enough to get a scholarship offer from 6 colleges, 5 in Philadelphia, 1 in West Virginia, which I thought actually was the western side of Virginia. And I came down here, I found out they had their own fucking governor, state legislature. Oh, what the fuck? It's not part of Virginia, and yeah, I got some stares on that one. So I came down here for my visit. They flew me from Philadelphia International Airport down to Westernport, Maryland. We came across to Kaiser, West Virginia, to a school called Potomac State College, and West Virginia fucked me up because I'd never seen like all this green before, and there were mountains, and I'm on this college campus, and they were having this freshman orientation, and this is 1978, and they take me up on this mountain along with about 300 or 400 other freshmen, and up on this mountain is this huge bonfire, and across from the bonfire they've got like 20 kegs, and there are people dancing around and doing all type of stuff, and I was like, man, in Philadelphia, we know how to party. We know how to party in Philadelphia. It wasn't until I moved to West Virginia that I realized we didn't know how to party at all. I mean, I spent a week in there. After I spent a week in here, I was making bongs out of fucking apples. I mean, these people were different, man, and I'd played I played like, what do you call a game? Quarter bounce. I played quarter bounce before in Philadelphia, but I never played it with Jack Daniels. What the? So my mom was like, well, all these places you went to and you visited, where do you want to go to college? I said, West Virginia. She said, ain't that western side? No, Mom, it's a different state, you know. So anyway, I come down to West Virginia, and West Virginia was like I had smoked weed and drank beer and all that stuff, but not in earnest because my mom was a Baptist minister. Let's just leave it at that. And it wasn't too much you could get away with from Matty P. But anyway, but when I got to college, I went nuts. Now, one thing, just a little backstory about me growing up in that, and I always felt, and I hear this with so many addicts that talk, I always felt like I was shunned by like even my own family members. I had things happening to me when I was a kid because we were dirt poor, living in the projects, on welfare, getting food stamps and getting a check, and because Dad had left when I was 12, and I'm the oldest of 6. So Dad left, and that caused obviously a lot of stress. I was glad Dad was gone because Dad used to beat Mom up like horribly. It was like really, really bad. And I don't want to get into too much detail about that, but I know a lot of us have been in that situation. Also, from the ages of about 11 through 14, I was being molested by my uncle. And it may have even been longer than that, but that's just what I could remember. And I actually remembered that when I had 2 years clean. I was sitting watching a football game, and I was like, oh, shit. And, you know, I had been in therapy before, but I never discussed it because I couldn't remember it. And so I had that happen to me. And then since we were so poor, our clothes had holes in them. I would go to school with them, and kids used to pick at me and all this type of stuff. You know, I go to school, and, you know, some of the kids would call me nigger, or and if they got really creative, they saw me, because I've always been like tall and everything, they called me the bigger nigger, you know, so yeah. So and then I would have situations happen to where I know now, looking back on it, that I would actually play to a feeling of I was less than you. You know what I mean? Like growing up and everything. Like even situations where I was feeling pretty good about myself, and if I sensed that you were somehow better than me, I would kowtow to you. I would kiss your ass. I would do, and it turned out that I would do that same thing when I was out there getting high. You know, I found out this guy didn't like me one time. He was my dealer, but he didn't like me. I found out he didn't like me. But you know, I went over his house and mowed his grass for him. And he said, "What are you doing mowing my grass, Tony?" I said, "Man, look, you need the help. And, you know, I know your kids ain't worth a shit. They ain't going to do it. I might as well do it." Actually, I had motives. You know what I mean? I wanted to get that hookup. But also, I was looking for that validation. I was looking for that validation from other people, and I was like big time into that people-pleasing thing. But in any event, so this is how I came to West Virginia. I was wounded internally when I got to West Virginia. When I got to West Virginia and I started going to college, I would come in at like 4 in the morning just ripped and make it to a class at 8 o'clock and be there on time. When I got to West Virginia, I started experimenting with every drug possible. Every drug possible. There was nobody there to tell me what time to be in, to cut the lights out, to put the trash in, all of this. The only responsibility I had to do was play basketball and go to class. That's it. So my addiction actually started my freshman year. And it continued. Potomac State College, a 2-year school. I transferred from there to WVU University because they wanted me there on scholarship. It took me a month to lose that scholarship. I got to WVU. This is back when Gail Catlett was the coach, and he wanted me, him and Coach McPherson wanted me, along with the rest of my teammates, to actually fucking train to play basketball. They wanted me to run up and down University Avenue and lift weights, and I had partying to do. So it took me about a month to lose that scholarship. Back then, I lived in Towers 3, and back then they had a bar at the bottom of Towers 3. Yeah, and the thing was to go to that bar and then go downtown to the Mountain Lair, and you just did the rounds. So it didn't take me long to actually get kicked out of WVU, and then I transferred to West Liberty University. Again, I went there on a basketball scholarship, and I leveled out there. My addiction kept going, but I was able to stay. I didn't want to go to class, which I didn't, but somehow I was able to get through my junior year. My senior year, I played first semester. The last semester, when we had a really loaded team, I was academically ineligible to play. And this is a thing that repeated itself throughout my life. I could never finish shit. I could never finish anything. I could always start it, but I could never finish it because my addiction always got in the way. In Narcotics Anonymous, our thing is not a specific substance. We suffer from the disease of addiction. I suffer from like whatever drug it is you got, that's what I want. And I want to experiment with that. In any event, transferred to West Liberty, things didn't go good there. I move in with this girl. There's always a girl. Moved in with this girl, and she was just as sick as I was. She didn't use like I did. She drank a periodic beer and this and all of that, and I introduced her to mushrooms because really I'm a child of the 70s, you know what I mean? Like the brothers used to get on me like, why are you doing on white boy drugs? I'm like, look man, I like doing this shit, leave me the fuck alone. I introduced this chick to it, man. Boy, was that a mistake. My life was never the same after that, and neither was hers. Shortly after that, I moved out, had this job, went around the state working, and finally I went to Parkersburg, West Virginia. I moved there full time. That's when my legal stuff started happening. That's when I started getting arrested in earnest, and it started to add up, and I was just totally out of control. I can't tell you the amount of using I was doing, and it was different drugs and different things. And, I know in Narcotics Anonymous we're not supposed to say a specific drug or what it was we did. If that happens to slip out, it just does. Sorry about that, but I got in trouble because I was walking down the street in downtown Wheeling one night or at least doing my best interpretation of what I thought was walking, and so guess what pulls up? State trooper pulls up, and he hops out, and I felt like I was like in Alabama or something. He goes, boy, what you doing walking down the street? Well, as a prideful black man, you ain't gonna call me boy and get away with that. Well, he kept going, and everything after that was nigger this, nigger that, nigger that. I handed him my expired license thing. He goes, I said, excuse me, sir. I said, I deserve a little respect. You don't have to call me that. He says, well, I'll call you Mr. Nigger. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right. Okay. And then that coke I was doing said, you don't have to listen to this shit. Knock this motherfucker on his ass. And that's what I did. Me and this cop is wrestling on the ground. He's trying to unbuckle his holster and grab his gun, and he's got his hand on. I got my hand on it. I grab it and I throw it over the fence, and I took off. But I found out that cops have like 2 words to make sure they never lose a fight. These words are called backup. Like within 5 minutes, man, I'm being kicked and I got batons and. It was just bad. They beat me so bad that night. It looked like my mugshot just looks like I'm out of focus. I mean, I'm so swelled up, and it was bad, man. And then cops got their own little. They got their own little thing where they psychological too. Now here's these guys. They done beat the shit out of me. You know what I mean? I'm all swelled up. They broke a couple ribs and everything. And they got me arrested, and they're pushing on me and kicking on me. And then they put me in the car. They want to make sure I don't hit my head. Boy, get in the car. I mean, I got blood coming from every orifice, but they don't want to hit my head. So I go ahead and I go to jail. I had to do some time on that one. Obviously, felony assault of a peace officer. I don't even know if they have that charge anywhere. Anyway, that stunt cost me about 33 months in prison. And I got out, and I just went right back to what I was doing with the same people, running the same streets, doing the same thing, running the same games, doing the same lies, manipulating people. Lying to my mom, stealing from my mom, stealing from my brother. My brother tried to help me out by having me move back to Philadelphia because things got so bad here. I moved in with him. I started dealing out of his house. I took money from him. It was just bad, man. It was a bad scene. And I ended up coming back to West Virginia to visit. And I came back from Philadelphia, and we're getting ready to come into West Virginia, and it said, welcome to wild and wonderful West Virginia. And when I saw that sign, I knew I was never leaving West Virginia again. I just felt like it was home. Now, throughout all of this, I had experiences with judges telling me, you need to go to Narcotics Anonymous. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I got this. I don't need Narcotics Anonymous or AA or any of that crap. And then there came a time when I got arrested this last time, and they sentenced me. And I remember crying when the bars closed. And there was a CO standing off to my left, and he was just laughing. A big guy like you crying. And I remember just sliding down and just crying, man, just crying my eyes out. I'm a baby boomer, so I can say I was crying. It's not nowadays where they just say, I got emotional. What the fuck is that? Anyway, so my PO got me a basic text, and so I'm in jail, and I'm reading this basic text, and I'm like, this time when I get out, I'm going to try this thing. I had bucked Narcotics Anonymous for so many years. And somewhere inside me, I had to know that was the answer. You know what I mean? It's like, but to be honest, I look back on it now, I just did not want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. And, you know, we got 100 suitcases full of reasons why we don't need to do something or do this program. So I started this program, and it's tough at first because you're detoxing, and you're sick. And it seems like everything in the world is crashing around you. And you're wondering how the hell you're going to get out of it this time, because we've been in so many scrapes and so many different situations over our lives. And somehow we've always got out of them. And so they told me, go ahead and we'll get you in the fellowship home. I get in the fellowship home, and you know that incident happened I told you guys about, and I got into it. That's where my service really started to take off. My commitment to service and other people. One thing that I do nowadays is when my sponsor got me doing this is every single day I have to do something, sometimes multiple things for other people. I have a disease of self. My disease, you know, half the time I'm all I fucking think about. All right, most of the time I'm all I fucking think about. But in any event, that's what I have to do to keep this, one of the things I have to do to keep this disease at bay. I cuss a lot and I'm loud and this and all of that, but I know the people in my life, when they need me, I know that I'm there for them. And I know that I'm important to them, but more importantly, they're important to me. I don't work recovery the way that a lot of people think that I should. They think I should do things on an area basis, a regional basis. I'm content with my home group. I've been around for a while, and I help out NA as a whole in my home group, and what I mean by that, in my 18 years of being clean, how many basic texts have I bought for people? Hundreds. How many dinners? Hundreds. How many of this, how many of that? Lots. I try to give of myself. One thing that I learned as you go along in recovery, and if you're around any amount of time in this program, you learn how to discern who to help and who not. We're drug addicts. There are going to be people to try to play you. All you have to do is rely on your own instincts. That's one thing that we have as drug addicts. We got those instincts that we can just size people up like, boom, I got you. Next thing you know, their wallet gone, bye. We can size people up. And one thing that I don't think enough people talking about as a drug addict, nationally, your IQ, not talk about your book IQ, your IQ is 10 points higher than the general population. We're master manipulators, guys. Master. And I thought I was good till I met up with you motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. I ain't shit. I met you guys, I was like, damn, I never thought about that. How'd you do, what? Damn. Oh, man, your game is strong. Look, we got a serenity prayer for that, all right? Bring it back. So what I'm trying to say is once you start recovery, you can use those same instincts to be successful in whatever it is that you want to be, whatever it is you want to do. And I mean right now, some of you guys that are early in recovery, it might seem impossible, but I'll tell you what, you keep coming back and you keep hanging around these people in Narcotics Anonymous and they will rub off on you. They'll rub off on you. Next thing you know, you're praying. My wife and I pray every night. We hit our knees together. Try staying mad at somebody you're praying next to every night. Good luck with that one. We pray every night together. So if you're in here and you got just a little bit of recovery, there is hope. There's hope. You just have to have patience. And what we don't have as far as recovering drug addicts or drug addicts in general is patience. That's why we've got to rely on each other to get this program of recovery. Also, if you have like anywhere from 1 to 6 months, something's going to start happening to you. These things are called emotions. I know you haven't had them for a while, but they'll start in on you, and you have to be around people in recovery because people in recovery have already been through it before. They can help you. You're a tough ass out in the street. You did all kind of shit. You know what I mean? You'd go and you'd shoot up. A guy say, hey, I got this, I got that. And you're at a party or something, and you say, what's it going to do to me? Oh, man, it'll make you feel good. You pop it. You come to Narcotics Anonymous, suddenly you got questions. I had questions. Well, how this, how that, how that. But those emotions are going to start to come back, and you need to be around people that's been through it before. So, just to give you an example, like, you're cool and you're having a good day and, you're done with the detox part. You're not sick and all that, you're throwing up and all that. You're past that. Now you're in a thing where it's mental and you think about it. Being around people in recovery will help you with that, okay? But you're sitting there one time and, you're a tough ass out on the street, but all of a sudden a commercial comes on TV and there's fucking animals and you're like, somebody ought to save those puppies. That was a true story to me. In those times, it helps to be around people that are in recovery. They've been through it. They've totally been through it. Also, if I could give advice to anybody in recovery, and that is be patient with your family members. I see it all the time with people that I sponsor. Be patient with your family members. You know, I know when I had 3 months, like a lot of you guys, you get 3 months, man, and you're doing good and you feeling good, but your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, everybody you screwed over is like, no. You're like, and you're in a different place mentally, like you want to parade downtown with the Lion King playing in the fucking background, you know what I mean? That's what you want. But the things that we do to people hurt, and we hurt them deeply. We hurt people so deeply. I told you guys I stole from my mom. And my first year of recovery, she would not let me go to the family reunion. This is like over 100 people, and they come from like 3 or 4 different states, and she would not let me come. The second year, she was like, wow, he's really doing this thing. Come on up. I noticed that when I got to the family reunion, I had a good time, but I noticed something, and that was Mom's purse. Mom's purse, when I was around, was like Mary's little lamb, because everywhere Mom went, that purse was sure to follow, buddy. She'd be cutting her eyes at me, checking me out to make sure, because I'd hurt her so many times in the past, and her purse taking shit. It takes time. The third year I go back, same thing. Mom got that purse, and then I noticed it was just me. Like there's like 100 people at this thing, but anytime I got around her and that purse, she grabbed that bad boy. She wasn't having it. Fourth year I go back, Mom is toting this purse. Fifth year I go back, same thing. I'm like, damn. Sixth year I go back, same shit. The seventh year I go back, I'm sitting on a swing, and my nephew falls like, I don't know, about 20 feet away from us or something. And my mom takes her purse and she sits it in my lap and she says, Boo, hold this, I'm gonna take care of him. That took 7 years, guys. 7 years that took. The things that we do to people hurt them on such a level that it's tough, and you really have to show. So be patient with the people that are in your lives that love you, but you've harmed, because it takes time. I'm having a lot of fun right now in my recovery. At 11 months clean, I started a business. Right now, I'm 17 years into this business. My wife and I both co-own the business. Recovery's been good to us. The people in Narcotics Anonymous have been good to us. It's a lot of fun nowadays, just trying to figure out society and everything. Like I sponsor people now, and they've got this new type of mutant strain of people called millennials now, and you ever try and sponsor some of these guys, man? I'm a baby boomer. These guys have feelings. And listen, Narcotics Anonymous says that I've got to help everybody, man. So I've got to learn how to tone it down when I talk to them. I can't tell them how it is. I can't do like my sponsor tells me. You're fucking up. You know, you can't do that nowadays. Oh my God, next thing you know, you tell them something like that, and it's like, I think I've outgrown you as a sponsee. I'm like, motherfucker, you got 4 days. I'm not the only one that goes through this. But the cool thing about it is we all can relate when it comes down to working them 12 steps. You know what I mean? And also when my sponsees that are millennials are just like me, they're smart asses, and I just love them to death. I really, really do. And I have like these little technical issues from time to time, like you put a cell phone in my hand, and since I'm a baby boomer, I'm like, and I give it to one of them, and I'm like, man, the display says the display won't work here. And they go, well, a common sense motherfucker would go to settings, hit display, blah, 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 blah. Like, I've been struggling with this for a week, you know, and they're like, they didn't fix it in like 5 seconds and shit. Little bastards. But the overarching thing that we have in common is the program of recovery. Because no matter what the age range, the age group, the idiosyncrasies and this and all of that, we all have the 12 steps. When we're being honest, we all can say that we know the same judges, the same fucking magistrates, the same jails, the same prosecutors. I'm not the only one that's stolen from my mom. I'm not the only one that's felt like downtrodden and like I'm a piece of shit all the time. I'm not the only one, and the list goes on and on and on and on. We have that kind of commonality. There's not a place that I can go to except Narcotics Anonymous, and people just shake their head when you're sharing because they understand what the hell you're talking about. And you ever hear somebody in a meeting say, oh man, I know I'm babbling and I don't make sense, but that's how I feel. And everybody's like, no, we understand you perfectly. It happens all the time. All the time. I love being around you guys because you guys are the only ones that understand me. You guys understand my shock and amazement to find out that you could use fucking aluminum foil to cover up food. Did you know that? I didn't know that till I got in recovery. Because I was building shit with it and poking holes in all kind of shit. You can actually use it to cover food up. Y'all laughing, but you can. We vibe on that kind of level. We already know. We already know. Whatever it is you guys are talking about in a meeting, I get it. And not only do I get it, but I get the context in which it's spoken and how you felt when that went down. I can't get that anywhere. I can't get that anywhere else. My 3rd year in business, I'm cleaning a car for this one lawyer. And he had 3 cars for us to do. And he said, Tony, are you going to be able to start on it? Well, I had an appointment with my PO that I totally forgot about. And I went out and I said, Jim, I said, I got to go to the PO. I said, but I can reschedule this and come back tomorrow. And he said, God's honest truth, he said, Tony, you don't have to go to the post office. We've got tons of stamps right here. True story. It's only you guys that get that shit. Y'all know I ain't going to no damn post office. Y'all know I got to go somewhere, drop some pee, tell some lies, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. It's only you guys. I can only talk like this in front of you. Out of all the people in the world, all the groups in the world, it's just Narcotics Anonymous where I'm understood on this level. It's only Narcotics Anonymous. That's it. If I was to say a blueprint for recovery is to be honest with yourself. And the way that you get to be honest with yourself is to surround yourself with people who will not buy into your bullshit. It takes courage to do that. It's frightening. Like I got a crew, man, of about 6, 7 people. Let me do so much as step off the curb the wrong way, and I'm hearing about it. And it used to be when I was out on the street, I'm like, dude, you mind your own business. Matter of fact, I still do that sometimes. But I quickly get to a point to where like, wait a minute, such and such loves me. And they're not trying to score any points on me. They see something in my character that's jacked up and they want me to do better. And I always get to that place because they've been with me a long time. My sponsor helps me out a tremendous amount. Get a sponsor. Don't do like I did in the first. I got a weak sponsor. I didn't know at the time that I was doing it, but I got somebody I knew that I could push around and wouldn't have to work hard. My sponsor right now holds me accountable. So surround yourself with people, go to your meetings, do all those things they ask you to do and recover, and your life can be whatever you want it to be, man. Whatever you want it to be. I got Narcotics Anonymous. I was literally eating out of dumpsters, guys. Now we have the #1 mobile detailing company in my region. #1. And I started out on foot because I had a DUI when I came into recovery. Y'all understand me fully. And so I couldn't drive around and do so. I started it on foot. And my sponsor got me to do that. He says, listen, how many state lines have you walked across to go get your shit? That was easy. So I just put that same determination in. Anybody that's a drug addict has that same determination. It's already in you. I love all you guys. Again, I want to thank the committee for asking me to speak tonight. I want to thank you guys because I see you guys, most of you guys, every single year that I come here, twice a year sometimes. And the saying, let's get ripified, is real. It's a real thing. And when I come here, I feel totally refreshed and recharged, and I'm ready to go back and give the message, some of the messages that I've heard here from you guys. I love all you guys, and I'm going to pass.